with your hosts, Tricky Nick, Alex, I Yield to No One, Sid, and Ender Phoenix.
Welcome everyone to Trophy Wars episode 669, dubbed the Nice Episode. With us, we got a lineup, at least, but not, I don't know how I wanted to say this. Tricky's here, but unfortunately, Tricky can't exactly say anything. Tricky recently had a small procedure, and unfortunately, he now has to talk out of his butt. So we decided to give us another week before we brought that into the show, but I assume we'll be saying a lot of things for Tricky as he types things into our Skype chat.
So he got the Ace Ventura surgery.
He did, yes. You heard him. We love him. Alex is here too. What's up, Alex?
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. I'm glad that Tricky made it through his procedure all right, and glad that he's finally warmed up to Ace Ventura as much as the rest of us have.
Well, Well, this will be a fun night with him typing obscenities at us in chat. Also,
it's the only way he can speak. Like his vocabulary is like what 20% obscenities.
it is typical New York, New Jersey thing where we sprinkle obscenities into our speech as a colorful institution of our feelings.
You're trying to show passion. That's clearly what it is.
Very much so. And as an Italian, I speak passionately all the time, mostly with my hands. Yield is here. Yield will not actually. This is another thing to talk about. Next week is WrestleMania. Yield was not going to be here. I will be spending time with the family. So stand by. I'm not entirely sure we're recording next week, but Yield, are you excited for WrestleMania next week?
I am. I'm always interested to see what matches are going on and how they're going to end stories and start new ones. So yeah, it's a fun time. I go over to a buddy's house. Me and his kids watch it. So
the only thing is, we gotta give a warning. Is Yield's gonna go for all that discount candy after Easter. So after all the Reese's peanut butter eggs he's gonna eat, he might be in a food coma. So we're waiting to see when his return is, whether it's the weekend after WrestleMania or the weekend after that.
That could be. Discounted Easter candy is hard to pass up.
But even if it's the Cadbury eggs.
I'm not big into the Cadbury eggs.
Well, that's why I asked, because they were. I loved those things as a kid, but I completely understand why people are grossed out by them.
Well, I hope, Yield, you enjoy your WrestleMania with all your Liz Ripleys and Rhea Morgans and Cody Reigns and Roman Rhodes. Do I have that right? Those names good?
Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah.
Cool.
For someone who's never watched it at all, I mean, you've got quite a few of them, correct?
I mean, we've talked about it enough on this show in our allotted 5 minutes per episode that Matt lets us talk. That
shit. Now I have to allot. It's WrestleMania. I'll allot you guys 10 minutes on the
because it's 2 nights,
episode.
5 minute per night.
5 minute per night. Yes.
No, if we're gonna do a WrestleMania thing, Tricky's gonna want to be on it, and it's gonna need to be its own special episode. Because
yes, I'll take a night off. Also, returning special guest, we got Jeremy here. What's up, Jeremy?
Not a whole lot. Just excited to be back. Also glad to hear that Tricky made it through his procedure and everything's good. He came out better than what he left, hopefully. After that, whatever that thing is that he pulled from his neck or they pulled from his neck, like scary stuff. I'm just glad he's good to go.
Yeah, seriously, it's been a long road for Tricky, and hopefully this finally did what was needed. So
for sure,
he'll be back soon enough, talking probably about how the Rangers are out of the playoffs and the Devils are in. So
wait, really?
Yeah,
they didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, I see him typing something. Yep. Okay, there it is.
Tricky, for everyone, just so everyone knows, Tricky says "Oh fuck you" in capital letters.
It's not too often I get to do this, so just saying.
Did the Rangers not make the playoffs? I'll feed you all night, Matt. That way you can do this.
The first thing.
I don't think Tricky would mind as much, but I guarantee Joe Priestley's been riding his ass like a horse all week.
Honestly, that's how I found out they didn't make it, was his post on the Facebook group.
Yeah, I know. So, Alex, having been taking your sabbatical from social media, the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning and checked Facebook was Joe Priestley's post about "fuck the Rangers, they are not in the playoffs."
Yeah, it was a picture of the goaltender with just a big eliminated thing across the screen.
Yeah.
It's for those who don't know, it's Derby season here in the Derby city of Louisville, Kentucky, and man, Joe's gonna be like one of those jockeys whipping Tricky like a horse all throughout the playoffs.
So I will say this: the Rangers will get the early start on golf season. Devils will be there shortly with the way that they've been playing this season. The fact is, somebody had to kind of come in dead last, but we are not here to talk about hockey or wrestling. We are here to talk about gaming and trophies, and we can go into our updated trophy counts. And Tricky is level 966 with total count of 34,356 trophies and 995 platinums. Alex, your count, sir?
I am, and thank you for sending me the agenda, Matt. I am level 519, total trophy count of 10,559. And these were, do we update these?
Yes.
Platinum count of 191 in 190 games. My march to 200 continues. I got a platinum trophy this week. So,
Nice.
yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Sexy platinum
Yield?
trophy.
I newly minted 528 with a trophy count of 11,066. And I, too, have a newly minted platinum at 210.
Son of a bitch had to show me up.
I can't let you gain on me too much.
Well, I think I gained 1 year. I don't think that's going to happen again. Because I had 1 year where I just rocketed up the charts, and every year after that, it's like, all right, that was nice. I'm tired.
All right. I am level 222. I've gone up 1 level since last week. And my trophy count went from 1333 to the best trophy count ever of 1,337. Yes, folks, I am elite when it comes to these trophies, and I still have 0 platinums. Sid is level 893 with 27,322 trophies and 850 platinums. Jeremy, your counts?
Level 409, trophy count 6508, platinum count of 55.
Thank you. And I am sitting in the agenda watching Tricky type things furiously. It's really difficult to look at the agenda when you're typing shit in, Tricky. Stop it. We can go into what we've been playing because I have no idea what that message is Tricky is putting up in the agenda. Jeremy, as our guest, as usual, we will allow you to go first.
Well, I told myself this was going to be the year that I wouldn't buy MLB The Show, but here we are, another year down. I went and bought it, and I've been playing that pretty hard this week when I've had time to. I've recently switched to daylight at my job, so I no longer have to be here half asleep talking to you guys, and I don't have to rush to be off here because I work normal, sane hours now, finally. So that's been my highlight of the week. So, but I did squeeze a little games in. Yeah, I played a lot of MLB. I started another franchise as my Boston Red Sox. I played, I think, 6 games now, and I think I'm 3-3 so far. I play on like a dynamic difficulty, so I set it usually for, I think, like Hall of Fame typically. But what's cool about it is if you start to fall off, you have a couple games where you get into a slump, you're not hitting anything, the difficulty will drop down a little bit to kind of get you to balance it out, so you're not just getting lit up every game.
Rubber band racing, we call it.
Yeah, it makes things competitive, and it makes it interesting. I mean, I typically play on, usually by the end of the season, because I usually try to play a full 162. Usually I get about 90 or 100 into it, and then I start simming a little bit to get to the end so I can actually complete the season, so it's not for nothing. But I've been playing that. What else have I been playing? I had it all written down here, or in my phone rather. I had Steam pulled up too. Oh yeah, I finished. Wanted to comment. Rather than chasing trophies, I have got 2 new 100% completions on my Steam list, though.
Nice.
I 100%ed Plague Tale Requiem, which was a good time. And,
I finished that game, got the platinum trophy last year in February, so I know all about that.
Oh, nice. It was. I mean, the first one was pretty good. I platinumed that one on PlayStation, so I figured I'd fire this one up and finish it. I think I had like three achievements that I needed to knock out yet, so I got on and finished that. It was just stuff you had to do basically in the New Game Plus, so yeah, I did that, and I played a little bit more of AC Shadows, and I still don't really care for the game that much.
Now, how long have you played? Because obviously, sometimes it takes a little longer to get into a game, but if you've been playing for, 4 or 5 hours now, and you're like, I still don't know about this.
No, it's almost triple that. It's about the 15-hour mark, and just nothing's really grabbing me at all. I mean, it's just the combat's kind of stale, the story's kind of stale. I don't know. I played Ghost of Tsushima, and it just did the combat and everything much better than this, in my opinion. But
You heard it, folks. An objectively better game, Ghost of Tsushima.
yes, by
So I do need to ask Jeremy, is this like, because I would assume that if you bought Shadows, you're a fan of Assassin's Creed.
yeah.
Have you noticed yourself getting tired of the franchise before this game, and you were kind of hoping this game would kind of reinvigorate you, or have you kind of enjoyed all the ones up till now, and this is kind of the one you're like, I don't know about this?
I mean, I've played them all. I mean, I think except
Wait, every Assassin's Creed game?
I've played every one of them. I think except Rogue.
Well, that's the one I just played as Rogue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's the only one that I haven't played. And no, I am bored to tears with them, to be honest with you. I think I just buy them because it's shiny, it's new, it's another game to add to my library that I'm probably not going to finish. So it's just something to feel crappy about myself later. But yeah, I buy so much and don't finish it. I'm sure Matt can relate with the Steam sales and stuff. So, but
what's your game count up to?
hold on a second. Just had it pulled up here. Too many.
While you look for that, I'll say my actual count is around like 650-ish, but since I do a Steam family share, I have 2,600 games in my collection.
Oh my god, that's yeah, that puts me to shame.
Well, again,
I don't even
it's
know if
not
I can
just
count
you.
that high.
It's family share, meaning I've got other people's games in my library able to play.
Yeah, I mean, I have way more PlayStation games than I do Steam PC games, but PC games I have 178 right now, and I've probably only played a third of them. So
It's the way of the Steam player.
yeah, I see something for $2 and I have to have it, even though I know I'm not going to play it.
Well,
Right?
I tell you, humble bundles. Well, they used to went a lot of the way. Fanatical bundles, where you get like 15 games, random games for like $13, increases that count as well.
I did the humble when I first bought my PC. I did the humble bundle monthly. That's a hard one to say. I think it was like, what was it, like $10 a month or something like that? And they just, can't remember exactly how many games you got, but I was like, man, that is a great deal. And I mean, there was a lot of trash in there, but
every once in a while they had a real good gem, and then when IGN bought them and a couple other things happened, it kind of went downhill real fast. The nice thing is being able to skip a month, and if there's something that comes up, you go, okay, that's got a game I want, then just buy right back in.
Right, and I didn't like a portion of that go to charity too when you paid.
Yeah, and I think they've changed the way that works as well. So
that's a shame. Okay, just thinking about maybe buying back in, but never mind.
Yeah, I keep it subscribed just because I like to get the monthly reminder that says, hey, here's your games for the month, and I know whether or not I'll go in and clip them or not.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I didn't mean to digress. What else you been playing, Jeremy?
Oh, no, that's basically about it. Like I said, I haven't had a ton of time. I'm just adjusting to this new schedule and more time with my family and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Well, more time with the family is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Glad it's working out for you. Alex, you want to tell us about the fantastical things you've been playing and what led you to get a new platinum?
Well, you know what led me to get a new platinum. It's my rabid completionism, sir. The disease of needing to complete everything as much as you can. Going balls to the wall every week. No, I mean, what I've played hasn't changed. I did download RoboCop, so I would plan to jump into that last week, but you know, this transition from game to game hits me really hard because I finish something, you put like 40, 50 hours into it, and you're not just like ready to jump back into a game, even a smaller game. So for me, there's that palate cleanser period. played Helldivers, opening up the latest War Bond. Finally got my 1,000 super credits for that, and then also got the platinum trophy in Subnautica. So that was my platinum trophy, and part of me is like, man, maybe I should play Below Zero, but also like I've seen the communities, like the Subnautica communities, like opinions towards Sub-Zero, and it doesn't seem like people really like it all that much or like it as much as the original. And I don't really want to play two games of the same style in a row. So maybe in the future, but to me, and really what I've been doing since getting Platinum Trophy is like I've gone back, before end game, and I'm basically just messing around with my base because there's base building in Subnautica, and the cool thing is like you can build your base anywhere in the world, anywhere on the planet. Now there's different considerations for where you want to put your base. Location as far as it goes to resources, proximity to a lot of your the places you want to go, proximity to leviathans and dangerous creatures. If you put your base in a particularly dangerous area, you every time you go out you might be under attack. So all that's consideration, and what power source you want to use. Like it's cool because like there's nuclear, thermal, there's like solar powered. They give you a lot of different options basically to give you the ability to anywhere on the planet based on the aesthetics of where you like to live, or the convenience of where you like to live, to where you can have your base anywhere on the planet. But there's tons of considerations to go into it, and I've honestly just been messing around with my base since beating the game. I've got all these resources, and since I don't really have anything to worry about like trophy wise, I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, sure, like this could be pretty cool. So basically just a lot of fun. Hold on, my goddamn recording is fucking up. Hold on. God damn it. Yeah, it's skipping here. Hold on. Sorry. Let me stop this. Yeah. All right, here. Let me start again. And I'm turning off this camera. Sorry, y'all.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, god dang it. Of course. Fuck stuff like this all the time. Matt, I'm sorry. I know you're editing this week. Okay, where is this? We are completely unplugging this shit. All right, here, go to someone else, not to me, and hopefully I will have all this sorted out by then. Because Yield still needs to talk. Matt, also, don't you need to talk still?
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys do that and come back to me and we'll do me again. Because sorry, the people listen live, you'll have to listen to me again. But yeah, this is, yep. So, because right now I've got the little wheelie thing of death, and I'm just, yeah.
Okay. And we're gonna go to Yield. What have you been playing?
Okay, so let's see here. I've been playing a little Pac-Man World Repack, trying to get to level, or clear level 9 in original Pac-Man to get that platinum. Played some Overcooked. Guys were over Saturday, and so we were working on Overcooked on co-op, so that way I can get my 100%. We also dove into some Broforce. That's always some good times. The Brain 76 was like, hey, did you see there was, and they added a bunch more characters. So we're like, no! So we were playing Broforce to see all the new characters that they added. Played some Helldivers 2. I think I played
Did you play with Tricky?
Tricky and I ran one Saturday morning before I had to jump off and get some stuff ready before the guys came over. He needed super credits, and a buddy of mine, Prepare to Die Scum, likes to run level 1s. That way you can get through it real quick and just, do it with 2 or more people and, clear it out, get the super credits, and then do another level 1. So I was doing that with him, and by God, we didn't run across a single super credit. So I felt a little bad. Played some Saturday night with Prepare to Die Scum and the Brain 76. So we went into the Gloom. I had yet to go into the Gloom, so that was interesting. It took me a couple of matches, to kind of readjust myself to they're a little faster, they're a little meaner. But after that, we didn't do too bad. I've been playing a lot of SnowRunner, working with Nitro on co-op, and then also working on my individual playthrough. I'm about halfway through, I think. Also, while the guys were over, we fired up. I want to say this game correctly, so let me get it on a bigger screen. We fired up Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. So that was fun. Couch co. You can do it couch co-op up to 4 players. You play tennis, soccer, basketball, and golf are the 4 sports that you can play. You play as Looney Tunes characters. A little clunky, but for a couch co-op, just goofing around, it was fun to play. And then and then the other game I've been playing is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and that is my latest platinum. I knocked that out Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, that's everything I've been playing.
Excellent, excellent. You know, back in my day, I remember on the Nintendo, there was a stark difference between playing something like Bugs Bunny's Castle, Crazy Castle, what is it, with 100 different levels, and then the Tiny Toons adventure game. I remember having a lot more fun with the Tiny Toons game than the Bugs Bunny game. Felt it was the better of the two.
I gotta say, if no one's ever heard of it, my stepbrother and I always enjoyed playing Looney Tunes basketball on the Super Nintendo. It was almost like NBA Jam. It was 2-on-2, very much NBA Jam style.
Really? That'd be fun.
Yep.
Okay. And Alex, what have you been playing?
So much of the same. This has been a palate cleanser week for me because, you know, after I kind of slogged through again, and slog is the wrong word, because I did enjoy most of my time through Subnautica, but after playing 40 or 50 hours of a game, I generally like to have a little decompression time in between, just jumping into something else. So, Tricky, we can do the end of the show countdown. That'll be fun. That'll work for the second one. So been playing some Helldivers 2, trying to get 1,000 space bucks to get into the newest war bond, and I got my super credits. I'm in the war bond. So yeah, just spend medals on that. That game is still incredibly fun, although, you know, it's as much as I enjoy playing that game, and kind of it's like my, like, you know, you're feeling sick and all you want some warm soup, like some chicken noodle soup. Like that's like the ultimate chicken noodle soup game for me at this point is Helldivers 2, where it just feels so comfortable and I'm so good at it that I just don't even sweat shit. And it's just, well, I want to play. Oh, fuck it, Helldivers. The other game I've been playing, of course, I got the Platinum Trophy on Subnautica, so got that done. And really, what I'm doing now, post game, I've got all these resources. I don't have to worry about trophies. I don't have to worry about doing any story bits. So I'm just kind of, you know, messing around with the base building. I kind of got like a rudimentary base going during my gameplay, but now I'm expanding upon it. You know, one of the big things is like throughout the game, you can collect like alien eggs. And then you can also build this alien containment center, which is basically like a big aquarium, and you can like put the eggs in there and they'll hatch, and like basically it's like a pet. You have like an alien aquarium almost. So I had a whole bunch of aliens stuffed into a small aquarium. So I expanded that into a bigger room and put 2 different large aquariums in there for all my little alien buddies. And, you know, the base building stuff is a lot of fun. Again, like, because there's all these different sources of power, you can put basically a base anywhere in the world. Now, some places are better than others. Convenience as it goes to resources, you know, the safety of the area. You know, are there any Leviathan class enemies there? You know, you like the aesthetic of the area. Some places in the game are much prettier than others. So there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to base building. But I do enjoy just messing around with the base building because it's like there's nothing to worry about, and like it's almost kind of like Animal Crossing, building your world in Animal Crossing. Like that's one of the things that kept me going back to that game and playing. It wasn't like any in-game objective. It was just like building and like adding to my village. In what was the latest new Animal Crossing? New Horizons?
New Horizons?
Okay, yeah. But yeah, like it's kind of like that. Like after the game, like that's what's going to keep you going. Because like the Subnautica community, like they will make all kinds of challenges for themselves. One of them I read was like people challenge themselves to kill all like the Leviathan class enemies in the game. But for me, like the base building stuff could potentially keep you going again and like for all time because you just keep collecting resources. You can just add on and on and on. And yeah, it's just kind of cool to go back post game and mess with that stuff. A tip that I have for the game itself that I didn't mention I didn't use these enough, beacons. So beacons are easy to build, and basically what they do is you leave them in an area and it serves as like a waypoint, an optional waypoint in the game. So like if you find an area that would be hard to find again that has some good resources, some of the the harder to find resources like lithium or silver or something like that, it's a good place just where you want to go back to, like a shipwreck where you want to go back to. Use the beacon because the beacon can get you back there. You can use that to guide you back there very easily. So those optional waypoints are critical, and I just didn't use them until late in the game. I feel like I could have used a lot more of those to make my life a little easier in Subnautica. But yeah, just overall doing the base building stuff. I have downloaded the RoboCop Rogue City, and I plan to jump into it this next week. But like I said, I just kind of like to have a decompression period where I'm just like not worrying about learning new mechanics or which trophies I have to get now. So, mostly or pretty much just all Helldivers and Subnautica this week.
Okay. Welcome to the chat, Joe and Kalai. Kalai, who has been busy with a lot of stuff recently. Good to see her in. And the first thing Joe comes in and says is, "Who's excited for playoff hockey?" Woo. and
me.
And Tricky had a very specific saying for Joe in that case.
I'm really excited that like I can watch all the shit talk from afar and have no rooting interest whatsoever in the NHL. Because like the drama of it just makes me laugh. Like just the slap fighting between Tricky and Joe, and I'm like, oh, they can't make fun of me because I have a team, and they just kind of slap each other. It's just kind of to not have
It is disappointing that they put all that money into the team and they don't make it to the playoffs. Tricky has been playing Assassin's Creed. He does want to extend his thanks to somebody, though he forgot to on Facebook for the Assassin's Creed Shadows tips. Tricky's smoke breaks while playing.
Pause the game and have a smoke break. Like, I don't know. Do you need tips for when to take a smoke break? I don't know. Maybe I just got lost in what Tricky was saying, but
I don't know. It's just what he said in the agenda. Anyways, I have been playing a bunch of games, including one that got me trophies to the best trophy count, I would argue. I put more time into Astrobot, not Astro's Playroom.
Matt, if you don't get the platinum trophy in this game, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
Well, here's the thing. I beat the game, and I'm fairly annoyed with the game because before beating the game, I had 298 bots rescued out of 301. And then I got the 4 puzzle pieces for doing the last level. That leaves me with the 3 bots I was missing and 1 puzzle piece. And the problem I have with that is once I beat the game, it increased the number of bots that I would have to collect because it opened up the extra, the time challenge and the vicious vortex. And now I don't know what I need to do. So now my issue is do I even want to bother going and trying to get the last bots? And I have no idea where that last puzzle piece is, because I know the last puzzle piece opens up the golden Astrobot statue, which I guess unlocks the last golden bot level. So that leaves me with 2 bots that I have no idea where to actually go to get them from. And I'm looking at this going, do I want to put that much effort in? I don't know if I do. So, sorry, Alex.
I mean, I guess I'll find a way to live, Matt.
I think you'll be... Yes, tricky. I know if you hover over the planets, it tells you the total number of bots and pieces. And outside of the DLC stuff that popped in, I have collected every single bot and piece available on every one of those planets. So anyway, the cool thing was I beat it while using remote play on my PC. Because, as you know, Zelda is getting up there and not able to move her around as much. And rather than traipsing her up and down the stairs, I just installed remote play on my computer. I hooked up my DualSense via USB and played through the final galaxy and the final levels using that. So, played really well on my end. Makes me wonder what else I could be playing while at my PC, as opposed to going down to the PS5 setup. Also put a lot more time into Monster Hunter Wilds, even played a little bit with Kalai this past couple days. And out of the 14 weapon types, I have now crafted every single max level hunting horn that is in the game currently. So I'll be moving on to Gunlance next, and that just involves rinse repeating on a lot of monsters, getting these special hunter symbol tickets that will allow us to actually craft said weapons. The game is doing weekly events where it'll put in like a new quest in a special category for you to fight, and it nets you some various armor pieces and other events, or other things like increasing your hunter rank, giving you food for your cooking. So there's more of that coming down the line, and I'm excited. And as I said last week, we got through the first title update. The next title update will be in the summer, bringing back a much beloved monster. So I can't wait to see that come back into the fold. So much so that I actually went back and I played some Monster Hunter Generations on my Switch, and reminding me that those old games, while good for their time, it's torturous to go back to now and try to play with all of the different quality of life updates that we've gotten. So I've much been enjoying the newer stuff than the older stuff. And as well, let's see, doing what Jeremy did is pulling up my Steam list, see if I forgot anything. Star Wars Outlaws. I jumped back into that, was going through Tatooine. Yield, they stole my Nix. I am not happy.
Oh.
I now have to raid a certain somebody's palace to be able to get him back.
That was a fun.
Yeah, I was fairly annoyed at I'm looking at this guy. So part of it is recruiting each of your heist members, and I'm looking at this guy going like, is he still going to be in the gang after this? Because if I were Kay, I'd just shoot him in the face. That's how I'd handle that. So I was basically cleaning up Tatooine, got to that point. I did the Sabacc tournament, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy Sabacc as much as I have been. It's a neat little thing, and ever since they patched it that you can fast forward through the other players' turns, makes it much more tolerable.
Once I got over the learning curve, I was like, oh, this isn't bad.
I still forget what the non-numbered Sabacc cards do. I have to look that up every time they pull up.
The triple, I call it the triple one, but the one that's got 3 symbols on it, look like cards or whatever. That one you have to roll the dice. And the one that's got the triangle on it is, I think, becomes the card that you're holding. So if you're holding a 2, it's a 2 as well. It gives you a true sabak, but it's whatever card you're holding.
Okay. So playing through more of that. Like I said, I'm just trying to clean up Tatooine because I see areas that I can't get to. It says you need this. So like one says a fusion cutter.
You need the fusion cutter.
I'm thinking I need to go to Kijimi next to get to the safe cracker because that seems like a very safe cracker type tool that you might need. So we'll see what I do with that next. Also continue playing a game called Children of the Sun. This is a Devolver Digital published game. You play an assassin who's trying to take out a cult, and you have to... It puts you on like an edge of a map, and you have one bullet to kill all the targets. But this is a magic bullet because after every target it hits, you can redirect it to somebody else. And that includes things like wildlife. Like if you don't have a shot on somebody, but you have a shot on a bird in the sky, you redirect the bullet to the bird, hit the bird, allowing you greater distance and redirection. So definitely a Devolver Digital type game. I highly recommend it.
End it like Beckham.
Absolutely. It's a magic bullet. So if I see a grassy knoll, I know where I'm going. And the final game that I was playing, I finally pulled the trigger and picked it up, is NES Championships. This is the game on the Switch that is just little bite-sized pieces of our beloved NES classic games. And it's basically a speedrunning game where, for instance, in Super Mario Brothers, you're charged with getting the first mushroom in World 1-1 as fast as you can. So it starts off typical. You have to run, jump over the Goomba, hit the block, get the mushroom, and jump up to grab it. Well, it tests your reflexes. It tests your ability to do things because it's simple to do, but difficult to do very fast. So there's a bunch of, every week on Channel 3, the guys go through and they have weekly challenges based on one of the challenges from the game. And the fastest I've been able to do this one level was like 25 seconds and 43 seconds. The person in first place on Channel 3 did it in 24.03. And looking on speedrunners, the fastest time anybody has ever done it is 24 seconds flat. So you want to talk about challenges. You want to talk about how amazing some people are at games. This is a game that you play and it makes you feel, wow, I really suck. I thought I'm good, but I suck. But it's fun going in, challenging yourself, trying to play and see how fast you can really perfect things. You know me, I like speed runs, even though I suck at most of them. It's fun to see what I can or can't do. But that is all I have really been playing this week. We can move on to other things. I want to say Gaz is out and about with the family. Hope he's having fun, and he will come back shortly. And as a result, there are no Trophy Rarity update notes this week.
And Matt, sure that's all you've been playing this week?
Was it all I was playing?
You sure?
I did not play Tales of Iron at all this week.
I was afraid of that. All right.
Maybe it'll be back on my list this coming week.
To be fair, though, I think in the early weeks of you playing it, I think you've given me enough to go off of, where it seems like you like the game to where I'm not expecting you to play it every week, especially with how you play games. Like if it were me, I'd already be in game stages, whereas you're like playing enough and you like to play a whole bunch of stuff. You're a Mr. Mishmash.
Except for Monster Hunter, that's constantly in my rotation. But yes, I will go back to it. I definitely say I do like the game. The combat can be frustrating, but I do enjoy it. So it was a good recommendation from you. I appreciate that, Alex.
Also, I will say for anyone who is considering this game or the sequel, just to show you how
easy, but like yeah, the comeback may be difficult, but again, you can play the game on easy, and I think it's a 65% completion for the platinum trophy on PSN profile. So people who are playing it, most of them are getting the platinum trophy, probably because if they're not playing on the Tales of Iron mode, which is the normal difficulty, they're probably playing on the story mode, the easy mode. So it's not a hard platinum trophy to get if you're want to play like that.
Alrighty. So now we get to talk about some of the news and the things that were announced this week, and that includes the PlayStation Blog's mid-month update, plus games catalog coming to premium and extra. And in the extra portion, we've got, let's see, Hogwarts Legacy coming for the PS4 and PS5. Blueprints coming for the PS5. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, Tape 2, which is a very long title coming to the PS5.
You know what I think of when I see that game, or whenever I watch it? Like, well, it's also like I think of somehow some mixture of, oh God, what's the Square game with taking pictures? Life is Strange. Life is Strange.
Oh,
I think of it as Life is Strange mixed with Stand By Me, the 1980s movie with River Phoenix and all that. Because obviously the story is, I think it's 4 teenage girls. So yeah, it always makes me think of Stand By Me when I've watched trailers for that game.
Yeah, I don't know the slightest thing about.
Yeah, no, I mean like in the episodic nature and just the style of the art, the aesthetics makes me think of Life is Strange. Because obviously that game was episodic as well.
All right. EA Sports PGA Tour for the 5. Battlefield 1, the PS4 version. Played Up for the PS4, PS5. Somebody's going to rage at that. And that's at the extra level. At the premium level, you also get Alone in the Dark 2 for the PS4, PS5, as well as War of the Monsters, PS4, PS5. So this is an interesting couple games. Yep.
Hold on.
War of the Monsters.
Hold on just a damn minute, Matt. Hold the phone.
Phone is held.
I last year played War of the Monsters and got 100% on that. What are they doing here? Are these just? Did I play the PS3 version? They're releasing the P. Is that what makes this different? Because if y'all remember, I had gone through the Classics catalog, and strangely, Twisted Metal and Twisted Metal 2, which were released, last year. Was it last year or the year before? Had moved up to the top of the release category, and now you're telling me one of the games they're advertising is War of the Monsters, which they've already released in the classic section of the PlayStation Network?
Yeah,
The reason I'm concerned is obviously because if you're paying for premium, them re-releasing games they've already released is kind of bullshit.
Yield, say it.
High quality games?
High quality games.
High quality games. Okay, I'm like,
God
wait,
damn it,
what?
It's your catchphrase.
It is high quality games. That's what you're paying for, Alex.
No, but actually, Tricky paid for it. I'm kind of running on fumes now because I think my premium's gonna run out here in the next couple months. But you had this entire catalog of PlayStation games to put on there from multiple generations, and now we're advertising War of the Monsters again. I'm not saying I don't like War of the Monsters, but come on now. What are we doing here? Why are we paying even less reason to pay for premium? Even if this is a PS4, PS5 version of a PS3 game or a PS2 game, do not give me different versions of the same game and call it a different game. I'll have to look into this because this is annoying me. You could have put another game in there instead of War of the Monsters.
I didn't trigger Alex.
Well,
Sounds like PlayStation triggered Alex.
God, is Jim Ryan really? Is Jim Ryan with the Wizard of Oz? Is behind the scenes? Is he pulling the strings? Did he say he was leaving and retiring? Is he really back? This is like some Jim Ryan bullshit.
Oh, that's 3 times. Maybe it summons Daryl. All right, so we know how you feel, Jeremy. I forget. Do you have PlayStation Plus?
I do not anymore. But the games that I saw on there, none of them really interested me overly. I mean, I already played Hogwarts Legacy and actually got the platinum on that one. But as for the other ones, I've honestly never even heard of those games.
as somebody who doesn't particularly care for Harry Potters, I keep getting that tug. Did I say Potters? Plural?
Yes.
Mhm.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ. Okay, that should tell you
You
everything I
you
know.
didn't say it right, Matt. It's not Harry. It's Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry.
I keep getting that tug because we have it on the PS5. And I'm like, do I actually want to play this game? Or is it just the allure of another open world game? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I have very, very little background on it myself. Like, I think I knew a few of the characters' names, and that was about it. But, like, I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, it looks fun, actually. So I got into it, and then it actually made me want to go back and watch the movies. I haven't found the time to do that yet because that's a slog. How many movies is there? Like 6, 8, something like that?
Well, technically, so there's, what was it, 8 movies because they split the last book up into 2 movies because it was too long.
Yeah. I mean, I compare my feelings towards my feelings with all the Marvel movies, because like I genuinely would love to watch them, but I am so far behind that I just don't care, and I've just accepted that it's not going to happen ever. I'm never going to watch them. So
you pick a good time to get out and don't look back.
I'm not looking back at all. I'm good.
Kalai, I don't have Game Pass to play Indiana Jones, and I see the Hogwarts on the family share. I appreciate that. I don't know. Yield, anything here that would speak to you if you were a plus paying member?
I was a plus playing member. The Plate Up is probably an Overcooked, so I might mess with that. Let's see here. I like a good golf game, but the EA ones have just gotten so realistic that it kind of takes the fun out of it. That's why I like Hot Shots better. I would pick up Hogwarts Legacy because I've heard a lot of good things about it, even though I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies and don't really have a desire to. And maybe War of the Monsters, just because who doesn't like giant monsters wreaking havoc on people? So
The only thing I will say is if they added a platinum trophy to the list, because the first game didn't have a platinum trophy. If they added a platinum trophy, well then, I take back everything I said. But yeah, if you know what, Yield, I think you would have some fun with it. It's giant monsters fighting in a city. Although I think that if you're gonna, spend some money on a giant monsters fighting throughout a city, I mean, Gigabash is a better game at this point than War of the Monsters, because War of the Monsters was developed early 2000s. There are some cool things about it, but mechanically, it's just not as impressive as Gigabash.
gotcha.
And meanwhile, Tricky and Kalai are going at each other in the chat, talking about Kalai wanted to tell Alex that Game Pass will get you Indiana Jones. And it's funny because there's actually a story we have coming up on Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation 5.
I like that Kalai is sharing these things with people. Like, hey, you have the opportunity to play this on Game Pass, which, as we will remind people, you don't have to have an Xbox to have access to Game Pass.
Everything's an Xbox these days. Alrighty. Speaking of that, kind of going back to a story we had last week on those game key cards for the Nintendo Switch 2 and some questions we had. There was a whole lot of clarifications made after last week's episode on the stuff going on for Switch 2. This is just one of those I wanted to circle back to, in that the game key card, which if you remember, Switch 2 is going to sell physical versions of downloadable games. I know that's weird, but follow me. It's a key card that you insert into your Switch. You have to be online the first time you go to download the game. It downloads the game to your Switch, and that key card has to be installed in your Switch to play that game. But then moving forward, after you download it the first time, you could be offline. You don't have to be online to play that game. Our question was, is that game going to be tied to your account, preventing you from reselling it, letting a friend borrow it, things like that? Well, Nintendo came out and did confirm that it will not be tied to your account. To me, increasing the value a little bit, though I know for physical game enthusiasts, This is still not good enough for them. The reason I bring this up was because there's a lot of talk about, well, you know, if you lose the game key card, it kills it, you're done. Yeah, I mean, true with any physical game, you lose the game and you lose access to it. But well into the future, if, you know, if Nintendo's servers go offline, then okay, what do you do in that case? Well, you may not download the game. You know, it was a couple years, maybe 2 years ago, 1 year ago, that the Wii U and the 3DS shops went offline. Well, the thing we found out was you could still actually download your own games. You can't just go back in and buy anything new. The reason I bring this all up, because announced is the new Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game that's coming to the PlayStation 5. Well, guess what? On the disc that is coming in your physical version of the PS5 game is 20 gigs of the 120 gig game. Meaning that when you install Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to your PS5, you're going to have to download still about 100 gigs worth of game to be able to play it. Yep, Jeremy's shaking his head.
Well, it's ridiculous. Why? It's ridiculous.
You have a Blu-ray game. Why?
Yeah, a lot of people are asking the same thing. I don't know.
So you don't even technically own the thing then? I mean, you need an internet connection basically to initially play it. It's just, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
So I would imagine that this is just like the game key cards, because you're going to have to install it. You're going to have to download the game.
It's different, Tricky.
And then you don't have to necessarily be online to play it. So you could feasibly give your friends the PS5 disc for Indiana Jones, and they could then download it to their system. But you still have to have the disc to play it. Much like all PS5 games, that it installs to your system, and you have to actually insert the disc to play it. The catch here is, if down the line Sony servers go offline and you have a physical disc with the full game on it, you could still put it in your PS5, install, and play it if space is at a premium. This, again, further blurs the lines between physical and digital games and adds an extra step in for the players. Alex, you know, will you be getting Indiana Jones now that this little caveat has reared its ugly head?
So, you know, as much as I loved Indiana Jones growing up, you know, because you grew up watching Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and my personal favorite, Last Crusade. And, like, you can't help but love Indiana Jones. But as someone who has seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in theaters when it came out and hasn't even watched the newest movie, I don't know. I have no enthusiasm for Indiana Jones anymore. Now, I mean, if it's a good game, if you got those Uncharted vibes, then potentially, yeah. But I don't know. Honestly, it's not even the downloading, like the physical whole physical thing, and having to download extra gigs to your console doesn't even throw me off, because I would just get it digital anyway. So I'd be downloading the entire thing to my console. So that doesn't bother me. But it's just, again, the murkiness of all this, of having a physical disc that you still need to do extra on just to play. Like, you can't just pop it in and play. Like, for me, it's like them pushing us away from physical has worked for me, because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this bullshit. I'm just going to download everything, and that's because that's just much more convenient, easier than using these discs. Now, I do want to add, but like, as far as playing the game, like, if the game's good enough, like this whole thing of downloading extra data isn't going to stop me from playing it. The one thing that I do want clarification on, though, as someone who plans on getting a Switch at some point, if it doesn't cost $8 million, Switch 2 that is. So these key cards, right? So they're not tied to your profile when you download these games. Does that mean you can take it to a friend's house and download it on their console?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
You are, in a way, abetting not piracy, but
game sharing.
Does Nintendo not see the folly here of them allowing people to take games over to their friend's house? Because I mean, again, we've talked about how expensive these games can be. Do they not think people are going to do that? Hey,
Well,
I'll save money. Like, people share accounts on Netflix
but-
or Hulu, and
Remember, sorry to jump in. Remember, you have to have that key card inserted into your Switch 2 to play the downloaded game.
yeah. So you finish it, then give it to your friend, and they get to finish it. They keep
Just
the game
like
until
any
they finish
other
it.
regular game, any other physical game. You just have to download it first. That's the different story, which worries physical game enthusiasts because when the servers go offline sometime down the road, are those games truly still going to be available?
No, I wouldn't think so. If you can't get them from the store, how are you going to
So-
download it?
But that's what I'm saying is I don't know how it's going to work, because technically if you own a 3DS game or a Wii U game that you bought from the store, even though the store's not accessible, you should be able to go into your options and re-download the game. The problem is, since this one doesn't tie to an account, I don't know how it's going to actually download the game. I don't know if it's you insert the game and maybe the Switch 2 has a new screen that says game key card detected, now downloading game. I don't know. A lot of questions and a lot of future proofing that still needs to be done. But Alex, to your point of piracy, which, slick way to get into our topic of the week later. Yes, I'm concerned from a piracy perspective, because what if somebody clones the card? Because certainly there's going to be systems that will allow you to clone these Switch cards. It's the same form factor as regular Switch games, which we know that there's Switch dumper card, Switch file dumper hardware out there now. Just going to take them time to tune into what the new Switch 2 algorithms include.
So what I'm confused at is, unless, again, that you are having games that you cannot fit fully on the medium itself, the little cartridge, which if you're producing games or people producing games that are too big for this cartridge, why the fuck did you use this medium in the first place? What is the point of making this key card if it's not any different as having a game that people can just take to their friend's house and share? Like, why make people do these extra things just to play a game if they can just do the same thing they would if the entire game is on the cartridge in the first place?
My theory is specifically because there's going to be third-party developers who can't fit their entire game on the key card. And as opposed to a digital code that just, you go to a store, buy a Switch case that has a digital code in it. Now you go and buy a case that has a physical medium that you just have to download. I think this is a better alternative, but still a far cry from assuading any concerns of future proofing.
Yeah, to me, it's a fault with the medium. Like, again, we've gone with these cartridges, and like, yeah, maybe Nintendo can maximize things, but it I don't know. It seems like you could have picked a larger medium to put your games on, so this still wasn't an issue.
Nintendo's gonna Nintendo. Jeremy, you weren't here for our Switch talk last week. Were you interested or looking to get a Switch 2 when it releases?
If I do get one, I'm gonna wait for an OLED version to come out, because it's
burning my butt.
I seem to buy anything that I buy anymore, like aside the Steam Deck, but which I'm also regretting that wasn't an OLED screen, but they just look better, man. It's hard to go back now.
Agreed. Yield, your concerns about, again, we know your thoughts on if it forces you to make a Microsoft account, but what are your thoughts on forcing you to now download on top of probably having a Microsoft account?
Well, I haven't found anything that I need a Microsoft account for Indiana Jones, so I should be good there.
But I mean,
Go ahead.
It's not out. We won't know that until people are playing on the PlayStation, right?
Well, I mean, I've tried to Google it, and there's no one has said yay or nay. So, I mean, all the other games that have come out, they've said, hey, you got to have a Microsoft account. So I'm kind of leaning towards nay. They would have come out and said something. Hopefully. It's disappointing that they only put 20 gigs on a Blu-ray, unless for some reason they just used DVD because you can get way more than that on it. That's really, I mean, it's not going to stop me from buying it. It's just, what are we doing?
Well, question is this a Sony problem? Is this a Microsoft problem? If it makes you feel better, Kalai is saying in chat that is really a good game. So, makes you think. You know what else I really am thinking of? What the hell is Bungie doing with Marathon? I'm not sure if any of you got to watch the gameplay and reveal trailers. I'm kind of scratching my head at this because all of this buildup for something that looks like it was made in 2005, and I don't know. I don't get it. Did anybody here actually play Marathon back in the day?
Matt, it's not ugly, it's vintage.
Ugly vintage, yeah.
No,
I mean,
I did not play it back in the day.
Couldn't we just stop it? I don't know what the hell Bungie's doing. Like, couldn't we just stop there and insert game after that? Because what the hell is Bungie doing?
Is this game a remake then? I didn't know that.
It's I think a reimagining of what Marathon used to be. I think this is kind of like a 3v3 extraction shooter with looting mechanics. It is so confusing to me, and in that aspect, I can only imagine it's going to be filled to the brim with microtransactions, or as it is in Bungie's days now, it's macro transactions, because when you have to pay $20 for a skin, that's not micro anymore.
I'm sorry, but Helldivers gives me 4 people, and you're telling me I got one less person out. I like my even numbers, and I got to go with an odd number. I'm out. I'm out on Marathon.
Who's going to be the third wheel? I don't know. Jeremy, did you actually watch any of the trailers?
No, the only trailer I remember seeing was like when it first got announced. I just remember it being like extremely colorful, and I was like, "What the heck is this?"
There's colors here.
Yeah, and then I saw that it was made by Bungie, and remembered how I wasted way too much of my life playing Destiny for no reason, and thought to myself, "Yeah, I'm not going to go down that road again."
So what I love is in the trailer it said from the makers of Halo and Bungie, and I'm like, MFer, there's nobody there anymore that still made Halo and Destiny. They're all gone. You're all keeping up the system. Alex, did you watch any of this?
Matt, I have never bought a single damn thing Bungie has ever made, and I don't know. Given their current direction, I can't imagine that that's going to change much. No, I'm definitely not spending any time watching anything Bungie. Because, I mean, I had my chance to play Marathon back in the day, and I didn't, so.
I don't know. I looked at this and I said, there's nothing of interest here that I am trying to hold on to. Yield, did you watch any of this craptastic? Literally, the first message I sent to Tricky was, wow, that looked craptastic.
Well, I totally forgot that they were even doing anything about it. So that goes to show you, and the fact that it didn't make any rounds on any of the social media that I go through, that tells you something else about how awesome it looked.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the video and I was not enthused. Like, Bungie was hyping this up. They need something. They really do. They need something to hit, because Destiny 2 has kind of gone downhill in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it isn't as bad as we make it out to be, but with the things that have happened lately with Sony's acquisition and I want to call a hostile takeover of management, they need to come up with something.
Can we just say that it seems like, I don't know. I know nostalgia is powerful, but it seems like Bungie is more excited to do this than people are to receive Marathon. Or, like, if you're going to do a reimagining of it, like, yeah, maybe there's like new people who will jump on board, but do you not risk losing the original audience who would be excited by a new Marathon or a remake of Marathon by reimagining it? And people are like, oh, this isn't what we wanted.
And now let's consider that people who are playing Destiny 2, maybe being whales, maybe feeding into Destiny 2 microtransaction economy, go and start playing Marathon and leave Destiny 2 behind. Maybe they start contributing in Marathon. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't come back to Destiny 2. I think it's a risk Bungie is taking to reestablish an old IP that maybe didn't need to be reestablished.
But see, like, at some point, it's not like Destiny can go on forever, right? It has to end. People have to stop caring at some point. And is that not the point we're at?
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. Like, the original Destiny was made to be a 10-year game. And here we are, Destiny 2 is now coming to be a 10-year game. So are they going to move on to Destiny 3 at some point? I don't know. But they got Marathon, which I guess is going to feed a more live service niche than even Destiny 2 could. Like Jeremy, I lost a lot of my time to Destiny 2 and the FOMO that they created with certain events and realized, wow, wasn't worth my time anymore.
Yeah, I never really got into the second one. It was just primarily the first game. Me and the one of my best friends from Maryland. It was just all we did nonstop, and he would always clue me in on like when those special things were happening, and I always had to get on, and we spent just I think it's my most played game on PlayStation actually, and I think it was like between 1,000 and 2,000 hours or something like that. Just way too much time.
Well, hopefully, as we see more of what Marathon comes to be, maybe my perception will change. Probably
I don't
not,
know.
though.
Maybe it's just me, but I think when you hear news stories of this studio is fucking up in the way that Bungie's been fucking up, you're really not excited to play anything they're making.
No.
Like, honestly.
No, I guarantee.
If you didn't grow up on Marathon either, you're not all of a sudden be like, oh my God, Marathon. Like, it's like, oh, this is a thing. And I can only think of really one example of a game I didn't play as a kid growing up that was available that I played as an adult. It's like, oh shit, yeah, that's Secret of Monkey Island, or the Monkey Island games. Like, those I really enjoyed going back and playing them, never playing the adventure style games back in the day. But you don't play it, it passes you by, and you just don't have nostalgia. I don't know. Like, everything I hear about Bungie just turns me off, and it's like nothing about it makes me want to play their games.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. Sony has not gifted, I don't know. They said that they added animated PS5 backgrounds featuring Horizon, Demon Souls, Ghost of Yotei to select players. So maybe everybody should go out there and check your profiles to see if maybe you were one of the lucky ones that were added. I personally don't care, but Tricky says he has them. Good job.
I have them too, unfortunately.
Of course he does.
Unfortunately. I don't know. I'm not sitting there staring at my PS5's background. I'd rather turn on my PS5 and play a game. I don't know, maybe in the massive amount of time it takes to download a game, it gives you something to stare at.
I mean, I think one thing we learned from the recent anniversary is that when you had the backgrounds that were kind of homages to the different systems, the PS1, the PS2, the PS3, and the PS4, people liked the backgrounds. I mean, there's no question about that, because people were complaining that they were a limited time only, and Sony was not going to let you keep them. So I think that they can be a nice touch. It's a nice little bridge from you turn on your console to starting a game. It's not something you're gonna sit there and stare at like it's like one of those like fire animations on Netflix from the wintertime. But it's a nice little thing to see. It's like, oh yeah, this adds to the experience. But unfortunately, like, yeah, there's a lot of fans of anime out there, but also like there's a lot of people that just, it feels like people who, like, when it comes to anime, people are either completely fucking out on it or they're completely into it. Like, it's one of those things that there's just not an in between. You either love it or you could not give it the time of day. So
anyways, if you enjoy that, go check your PlayStation profile, see if you have it. They're there. It's a nice little thing to personalize your console, and by personalize I mean do the same exact thing thousands of other people are doing.
Right. It's a step in the right direction, but we're still.
I mean, it's no Xbox 360 faceplates. I don't know what Microsoft was thinking on those.
Money, pay for these extra things for money.
Yeah, agreed. So with that, actually, I'm changing up a couple things on the agenda, and I'm moving the last article to be as part of our topic of the week. So now we get the point where we talk about listener questions, which I posted the question on Facebook. Didn't get any bites, but I got some other questions on the side. Tricky.
Hello again, guys.
Toe.
Time to check my social media.
TikTok. We're live. All right, fuck it. No soundbite this week. All right.
No soundbite.
Coming in, Thomas got 2 quick questions.
Time to check my social media.
You're late.
God.
You know that shit was on purpose.
Probably. I don't know. Kalai says in chat that the soundbite does work. And welcome to the chat, Saber. Glad to see you here.
You
All
were
right.
muted.
Good job, Tricky. So Thomas asks, will Marathon fail like it did for the Apple back in the original day of Bungie? I think we all agree that we are very reticent to believe that this is going to be a resounding success. If it's good, I hope it's good. I don't think it's going to be the success that Bungie needs it to be.
I concur.
Bungie needs a win like Microsoft needs a win.
Well, I mean, you would hope if you're Bungie that a lot of the people playing Destiny would jump over to, your next game. But if it's a different gameplay style, which I assume it is, there's no guarantee of that. So you're not even guaranteed to replicate the success you got with, Destiny. Because jumping from Destiny to Destiny 2, you can kind of be certain that anyone who played Destiny, as long as their experience wasn't completely fucking terrible, they would jump over Destiny 2. It's a new iteration of the game where you could hopefully fix some of the issues with the first game. This is something completely different, so who knows what you're going to fucking get.
Well, only Bungie does at this point in time. But
No, they don't know shit.
Better words have not been spoken. Kalai asked, specific to Tricky and me, now that the Baldur's Gate 3 Patch 8 will be adding in crossplay, will Tricky be playing Baldur's Gate 3 with me per her donation? I'm staring at Tricky's camera to see if he says anything.
He disappeared.
Convenient.
Convenient. No, he's okay. Now he disappeared. All right.
Somebody gives him money and then he doesn't pony up and play what he was paid to play.
Achievement. Good job, Kalai, getting achievement.
If you guys happen to play through that, and since there is cross-play, how many players can you go with that?
4.
4.
It's a party of 4.
I would join in on that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We could do that.
Okay.
That'd be. Oh man. Oh, what would you play?
I started it. I've only put a few hours in, so I don't know.
Do you traditionally try to go like spellcaster or physical melee attacks?
I mean, in most RPGs, I've always just been the physical melee attack guy, for sure. Yeah.
So you'd probably be good with a barbarian or a fighter.
Okay.
Maybe even a paladin.
Yeah, I started to play through with the same friend that I played Destiny with, and we would play every Sunday morning. I think we played for like 3 months, and then we just kind of fell off, and we never came back to it, unfortunately. Life happened, I think, and yeah, unfortunately. But I would really like to get back into it because I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've started a number of playthroughs. I've never actually finished the game. I've got like 4 different games going on, but I've traditionally done spellcaster type classes. I tried fighter, and it was fun, but not nearly as much as my sorcerer.
You like to set stuff on fire, after all.
Yes, and Fireball is a very fun spell. Literally, when you cast it in the game, I don't know what soundbite they actually use, but it sounds like a warning horn goes off when you fire it off, and then everything around you in that area just dies.
Nice.
I've one-shotted teammates, not on purpose. At least that's what I'll tell them to their face. Kalai says, and would you guys go for the rare tentacle porn trophy? No. I will actively guide Tricky away from that one.
I'm pretty sure Tricky already has it.
Not in that game. Anyways, he will probably have to get it anyways for the platinum. Thomas had another question. What game pleasantly surprised you? Does anybody have an answer? If not, I can start us off.
You better start us off because
Okay.
I gotta go through my PlayStation list.
Right now, yeah.
I will immediately say Immortals Phoenix Rising, and this is why. Obviously, I love Breath of the Wild. It's a great Zelda game. And Immortals Phoenix Rising is Breath of the Wild without the Zelda theme. And I bought it on sale Black Friday one year from Best Buy for $15. If I had known I was going to have as much fun with that game as I originally did, I would have paid full price immediately for it because it was a fantastic game. Fun, open world, great characters, great humor, great story. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So that's my contribution. Tricky has said, "My name is Mayo," remastered.
Oh my God.
Of course you do. Tricky, you should play Kill It With Fire. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Anybody have thought of one yet?
I
got a couple.
Go ahead, Alex.
No, you go ahead, Yul.
I was gonna say I agree with your Immortals Phoenix Rising. That was really good.
Which Tricky agrees with as well.
Yeah. Trying to find one because everybody liked Kenya.
And Saber says, "I too love that game." Oh, Kena Bridge of Spirits.
I was pleasantly surprised with how hard that fucking game was.
Oh, the game.
Was a bitch.
So I beat the game, and you got to go play on hard for the platinum. And I'm like, all right. By the end of the game, I'm like, I got the combat down. All right, I'm gonna give this a try. By the time I got to the town to where you could save it and then do the whole glitch, I was like, F this. There ain't no way I'm making it through this on hard. But no, the game was really fun. I enjoyed Pumpkin Jack. That was a fun little Halloween type game. I'm looking at some of the smaller games. Spirit of the North was fun.
Sequel to that coming out soon.
This year, I believe. The Far Lone Sails and Changing Tides were fun games. Like I had way more fun than I thought I would with those games. So yeah.
Okay. Alex, you have one?
So I've got a couple. One was a game that actually turned out to be one of my favorite games I've ever played. That just completely came out of nowhere. And another was a game that was based on a popular franchise that I just, because it was turn-based combat, I didn't think I would be into it. But once I actually played it, I really, really enjoyed it. So the game that came out of nowhere was Weird West. I played that game twice in the same year. Like, I love that game. That game is so much fun. The other game, the one based on the IP that was well known, was South Park: The Stick of Truth. Again, Ubisoft turn-based combat. Like, I'm not the biggest Ubisoft fan, and turn-based combat just to me is not like, typically like Pokemon games are the only games that I'll play turn-based, and even I don't play all of those. Like, I'll play one every few generations. But Stick of Truth, and to a different degree, the Fractured Butthole, like, those were both a lot of fun. So I was surprised at how much I enjoyed those games. So it kind of went against the conventions how I usually play, like, not the gameplay style that I usually enjoy. So
Okay. Jeremy, you have an answer?
One that kind of one more recent one that kind of caught me off guard that I just played just for the hell of it was the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out. That was pretty good, unexpected. unexpectedly good game, like really nice looking game too. And then to go way back, probably like I think this is probably like '09 or 10. There's a game called Dante's Inferno. I don't know if any of you guys have played that.
From
I
EA,
remember
it was
yeah.
the God of War clone.
Yes, I had no idea what it was going into it, and I picked it up, and that's what it reminded me of, like the older God of War games, and I literally couldn't put that thing down until I got every last trophy in that too. Yeah,
I hate to
that
say
one.
about that game. I mean, the game was fun, but I feel like it peaked super early. Like I feel like the best bosses in the game were the first two, the judge, and then also the second boss was Mark Antony and Cleopatra.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like after that, the game just didn't get, because you went through like the kind of the premise of the game was you went through every layer of hell, like every circle of hell, 1 through 9. So I feel like there were some high points in that game, but I feel like a lot of the high points were towards the beginning of the story.
I just happened to think of that because I thought I saw something recently that they turned off the servers or something for that, so you couldn't get the platinum for it anymore. I don't know if that's true. I thought I read that somewhere though.
Yeah, there's DLC, and I think some of the trophies, are unobtainable. You can still play the main game because it's a story based game, and you can probably get the platinum trophy, but check into that because I don't remember. I know there's DLC, but I don't think they like that. Obviously, the platinum trophy wasn't tied to that. It was just extra trophy, so you may not be able to get 100%, but you might be able to get the platinum trophies.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Alrighty. And Will writes in with his question: what's the single worst thing about the Switch 2 release? That it is 2 months away at this point.
The fucking cost, like the amount of money that you're going to have to spend on a Nintendo console is easily the worst part.
How much are they going to be on Amazon once the scalpers get a hold of them?
That's the issue.
That's going to be a huge problem.
Revising my answer to the thing Jeremy said earlier, the fact that it's not OLED, that they already went back and went to an LCD. It is a 1080p LCD, but it's still LCD. Saber says too expensive and taxes and warranty. I don't warrant my systems. Too many loopholes.
Yeah, usually I find that, and you all can give your different experiences. I find that if my console makes it out of the first year, which usually the factory warranty covers the first year, you're pretty good. Like there's a very high likelihood that console is going to last as long as you take care of it. If you're sitting there at it playing 12 hours a day, burning it up, maybe not, but you make it out of that first year in that factory warranty, and you're usually doing all right.
Mm.
And that theory has never done me ill.
Guilt, did you put into this?
No.
Okay. Do you have any desire to put into this question?
So there are a multitude of things that I'm not thrilled with the Switch 2. One's the price of both the console and the games, because I just don't see a Switch 2 game being graphically is the wrong word I want to use because we can only see so much. I don't see them being better games than what we're already playing on this generation of consoles, so I have a hard time dropping $80. And the comparison of everybody going, oh, well, when you bought an NES game, it was this much, and at today's market, it would be this much. Stop that. Quit justifying it. just stop it. It's a fun conversation piece, but when you're actually trying to use it to win your argument, just stop.
Well, also, we got to remember, people are like, we didn't used to pay shit. Our parents used to pay.
No, yeah, exactly. And so it's I'm kind of now in a wait and see approach because the whole game key thing, I'm of two minds of it. Like, I get it, but yet it just doesn't sit right with me. So,
well, if it's a game key, it's not a collectible. Then at that point, it stops being a collectible.
Right, it does. So for those people, it really, really sucks. It's just like I said, mainly it's the pricing that's got me off. They don't really have a lot of launch games. They're all just upgrade your old games. So it's a multitude of things.
I mean, to be fair, I will say that as far as launch games go, they probably led with the best possible game on a Nintendo console they could have led with.
Well, yeah.
You know, outside of Diddy Kong Racing too. But
Well, obviously they led with the best one.
oh, what was that? You, Matt, sighing that I heard?
It was me sighing, yes.
You want to give me the elbow every now and again, and when I turn it around and give you the elbow over these mascot kart racers, you want to act surprised.
Listen, I don't understand why you want things the way you want. That, you know, you want Diddy Kong to be the better racing game. You want a remake that's not Ocarina of Time 3D. You just want all these impossible things.
Oh, all these impossible things. The one nice thing about being a Switch owner is you could play both Crash Team Racing and Mario Kart. You didn't have to choose. You could have both. So whichever way you were leaning, you could have your cake and eat it too.
And Saber says, will the Zelda game at least have a map now? I'm not sure what you mean by that. It had a map. Are you talking about a mini map on your overboard? No, they have an app on your smartphone for that now. Alrighty, moving the show along, we are going to hit the topic of the week, which there was an article that came out where Ubisoft says you cannot complain it shut down the crew servers because
topic of the week.
Wait for it.
Well, fine then. Fuck you, Matt.
Tricky, do me a favor. I'm fine with keeping that in. Just shorten
the fucking time.
The time on it. So the Ubisoft came out and said you cannot complain it shut down the crew servers because you never actually owned it and you weren't deceived by the lack of offline version to access a decade-old discontinued video game. So
have Ubisoft not listened to our podcast? Bitch, I'll complain about anything.
I think maybe this isn't on their list of things to listen to. I hate to say it, guys.
Well, you know, it should be.
Well, good. That's why they're fucking up. They might be doing better if they listen to us.
Right?
So,
I totally agree, Alex.
Every time when a game company comes out and says, well, you don't own your games, inevitably somebody in the background says, well, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing. And the guys and I started a chat about this and says, well, you know, I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but there's also different thought processes on that, because you look at it and say, I'm leasing a car. If I suddenly stop paying my lease payments, I'm stealing. They're going to repo that car real quick. But also, we said, you know, in a car lease, things are spelled out, including term of the lease, time you're turning in the car, responsibility, ownership, what you have to do with it. Whereas games are still in like this nebulous area. And I said, Steam recently was forced, and I say forced because they had to do this. They didn't do this out of their own tuition or own intuition, was that their purchase screen now says you are purchasing a license to play this game, which may not be a permanent thing. So it goes back to saying, and Yield, you had said it in the chat, to be like, this, people need to spell this all out in plain language, not buried in an end user license agreement somewhere. Because things need to be written in black and white.
Yeah, there you go. No, don't hide in the gray. Come out and say it. Don't change the rules, you know, 7 innings into the game and then go, well, everybody knows about it. And everybody's going, what are you talking about?
So it really gets me to say, you know, I feel like saying pirating isn't stealing if buying isn't owning is like the fun thing to say. But in actuality, it's kind of been a known fact that you haven't owned your games for a long time. I've said multiple times that if you truly want to own games, don't buy anything past the PS2 era, because that's the last time you truly owned anything.
Yeah, well, once they started an online store.
Once it connected to the internet, that was it. That was game over. Jeremy, how many games? I asked you earlier about the number of games you own on Steam, and I talked about the number of games I own on Steam. And for everybody listening, I'm making air quotes over the word owned, because I fear when Gabe Newell dies and somebody else who's more money oriented comes in, maybe we won't have that protection down the line to say that our games can be perpetually downloaded. I can't tell you how many times I've gone back and tried to play Batman Arkham Asylum because I haven't. But 30 years down the line, if that's suddenly unavailable to me, would I be upset? I don't know, Jeremy, you have a different feeling on it?
Hey, man, for a low monthly fee, you can access your library.
I mean, I think about it and I'm like, oh, maybe like my kids would want to play this, but I can't even get my own kids to play things from like my era of video games because I put something on. I think I got a PS2 off of eBay probably 2 or 3 years ago just because I was dying to play this. I actually bought a copy of Scarface off of Daryl. You know, he does the resell thing. He's the swindler. You know,
filthy reseller.
Yeah, the filthy reseller. Yeah, I bought a copy of Scarface from him for the PS2, and I got it, and I was all excited. I sat down, fired it up. I had the what are those the TVs called, the CRT? I had one of them and everything, and I was all excited. My kids came in the room, saw what I was playing, and they're like, "Dad, the game looks like trash." So it's like, I don't think my kids are gonna my kids' kids are gonna have any interest in games, 30-year-old games. I mean, it's probably not in the cards.
Even take into consideration that you are not allowed to bequeath your Steam account to anybody else. It's in Steam's license agreement that you cannot transfer your account to anybody else legally.
Right.
It's not to say that my great nephew 12 generations from now isn't signing in with my account, but it's obviously a concern. I'm fairly certain PlayStation is going to be the same thing where, a couple years down the line, Alex's girlfriend's kids won't be able to play his system after Alex has decidedly kicked the bucket and said, "No, I'm done with this mortal coil." That leave you any sort of concern, Alex, that your account one day will be completely gone?
Oh, ain't nobody playing on my account but me. That's my
Nice.
That's my portfolio. That's my resume as far as the games. And honestly, like, one of Ashley's kids has an Xbox, the other one plays on PC mostly, and sparingly on Switch. So I honestly really don't even think they care about PlayStation all that much. Maybe the younger one might want a PlayStation one day, but they don't have the same ties to the PlayStation console that we do. And certainly not the same ties to trophies, I don't think.
Yield, down the line, you're no longer around. You're not able to transfer stuff. Are you bequeathing your console account to anybody?
I haven't 100% given it thought, but I won't say that it hasn't crossed my mind. As long as I don't change my password, that can be slid off to somebody else. Here you go. Enjoy.
So, Steam has the capability for us to actually download our game, like create a backup save of our games to reinstall offline. So there's always that capability. But even then, you take something like Deadpool, which is a game that has not been for sale in the longest time. And that was now put up on archive.org. I was able to download it and make it work on my Steam Deck. And, there's going to be things like that. There's going to be things like Good Old Games that allows you to purchase a game file, download it to your computer for install at any point in time you want. So just like you have a physical PS5 disc that installs the game, not counting Indiana Jones, but you're able to download those files and keep them somewhere safe and transfer them if need be and reinstall them when you want. Like, that's going to be our only way to save games in the future. And unfortunately, Good Old Games kind of knows. They say, listen, you download it, it's yours, no DRM. But they know people will pirate that and share that file with other people because that's what people do. They save money that way. They don't, maybe they just don't want to spend, or maybe they put it up on archive.org so that way somebody else accesses it. It's a definite balancing act of saying, well, pirating is the only way to hit these developers, and really it's the publishers who you really want to punish, because the developers are just trying to make a game that you want to play. Publishers are the ones that are essentially fleecing us in many cases, Bungie notwithstanding. But you pirate a game because either, you know, I put people in a couple classes. You pirate a game because A, you're not going to spend the money no matter what. B, you can't afford it, but you really want to play it. C, you really just, you know, you want to get the, what is that? The non-nerfed version, because you download a crack file, you play it, install it, as opposed to having to go through hoops like making Microsoft accounts or installing DRM modules on it. It really makes you wonder what lengths people will go to be able to pirate a game and their reasons for it. But when you have a company like Ubisoft coming out there saying, like, yeah, get comfortable, you don't own the game, you push sentiment closer to a world of, well, then I'm not going to buy your games, but if I still want to play it, guess what? I'm going to pirate it. And is that like Ubisoft doing it to themselves then?
Feels that way.
I mean, Ubisoft coming out and saying what people, there's a difference in it being understood that's the way a company's running something, and then that company openly coming out and saying it. Because then it's like, yeah, I appreciate the honesty, but then also some people are like, oh, you're braced enough to say it, you know, confirming it. Like, well, fuck you, Ubisoft. We're going to come out. I don't think that everybody who hears that or who buys Ubisoft games or who plays on consoles is going to go then pirate shit, because a lot of people don't know how to do it. They don't want to mess with it, and they're worried about the legal ramifications. So, I mean, I know that piracy is an issue for publishers, but for most people, they're not going to turn to a life of piracy just because of that. They may spend less on games. They may not buy Ubisoft games, or they may save money by, you know, subscribing to a subscription service for games like Game Pass or like PlayStation Plus. But I don't necessarily think, I mean, Ubisoft isn't making any more fans by saying that, but is it going to turn like a notable amount of people more towards piracy? I don't think so, because I think people don't pirate shit already. It would save them money as is. I think people don't pirate things because they feel like it's wrong, or they just don't know how to go about it. So I kind of feel like, yeah, you're kind of villainizing yourself, but at the same time, you know, are you really going to turn that many more people to stealing games? No, I don't think so.
Will Ain't Dead is in chat saying Ubisoft is forcing the hands of piracy. And I feel like their statement like that will push those over the edge who are towing the line. You know, in loss prevention, there was always the saying, honest people are going to stay honest.
Sorry about that.
Thought we were going into like some sort of operatic boss fight or something.
No, what had happened was,
oh fuck, it's Elden Ring.
I had a pop-up come up on my phone that said something on my Steam wish list was on sale. So I pushed the button, didn't realize that I had the speakers all the way up on it because my daughter was on my phone playing games with it. It was playing a song from that Prince of Persia game.
Okay.
Oh, the one that it failed.
It's the side scroller.
The Lost Crown.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry.
All right.
That.
No, all good. I just felt appropriate given our epic discussion. With that said, you know, epic discussion and all, it's people will, like I said, you're going to have honest people, you're going to have dirty people, and then you're going to have the people towing the line. And those people towing the line are the ones that Ubisoft is pushing over the line with statements like that. So just be aware, you know, sometimes you're not a product of your own upbringing. Maybe somebody pushes you or convinces you to go down that path. But with that said, we will be wrapping up the show and giving time to our guest for his shout outs. Jeremy, why don't you shoot us off here?
Shout out as always to you guys for having me back for this might be the fifth or sixth time maybe.
Got to make a regular out of you.
Yeah, I'm down for it. now that I'm on a more appropriate schedule, I mean, I already reached out to Tricky and said that I'd be available, but not next Sunday or Saturday because WrestleMania. So
Yeah, see, that's
we got a
here.
busy weekend. So
yeah, folks, WrestleMania.
I
Let's spend time there.
I literally put
time with the Easter families.
yeah, right. I
Hey,
literally put
families
PTO.
had an opportunity to book me and they didn't. So
I literally put PTO at work in for WrestleMania and then realized it was Easter. I was like, oh, perfect. But yeah, shout out to you guys again for having me back. I truly appreciate it. I have a great time. Shout out to my wife again for somewhat keeping my kids quiet tonight. I heard them a few times, and yeah, I have got to go have a stern talk, I guess, after this. Yeah,
It's all good.
unfortunately.
It's all good. Don't worry
And
about it.
yeah, shout out to the people who like to drive by my house with their cars that don't have mufflers and stuff too. That's always appreciated. So shout out to them too. But yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, Yield.
shout out to Jeremy for coming on, filling in for Tricky. Shout out to Tricky sitting at home behind the scenes. Well, running a little late. Shout out to Matt and Alex for recording this evening. Shout out to Will and Kalai and everybody else who was hanging out in the Twitch chat tonight. Shout out to Prepare Dire Scum, Harry Balls on You, the Brain 76, and Homer Gets Stuffed for hanging out Saturday and playing video games all day. Shout out to Nitro for going through SnowRunner with me. Shout out to Tricky for some Helldivers. I tried to get him some super credits, but ran into a level with no super credits.
Yo, do you want to know what that son of a bitch did?
Well, what did he do?
All right, look, I know we're all glad Tricky's feeling, or on the road to recovery, but I was playing a game. You know how he complains about people never play with him. I was playing a game of Helldivers with just some random folks online, and I get an invite from Tricky. The prompt comes up, Tricky Mick has invited you to play Helldivers. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get out of this game, and I'm going to join Tricky. I get to a Super Destroyer. He's fucking immobile. He's just frozen standing there. And I get kicked from the game, and it says you've lost connection. I call him, like, Tricky, are we going to play? And he's like, what are you talking about? I didn't send you an invite. And he's like, I was just jumping on to get the credits. Or get the
medals.
Not the medals, the medals for the major objectives that everyone does and contributes to, and you can just go get those. I'm like, what the hell? Like, Tricky, I'm trying to play with you, and I just get kicked. So, I mean, not really anyone's fault, but at the same time, like, I've never had it where I got a prompt that someone invited me, and then that person had no goddamn idea that they actually invited me.
Oh, you can't accidentally invite somebody in Helldivers. So.
That's what I was thinking, but I mean,
because you got to hit the options button, then I think you then you got to go select our name, and then you got to go invite the squad. So you can't, quote unquote, accidentally invite somebody.
See, that's the thing. I was on, and I let Tricky never say that I don't play with him or don't try to play, because there's an example right there. I left mid game, another game, to go help.
Oh,
Tricky.
you left mid game?
Oh yeah, I did.
Man, I'd have been
answer for your crimes, Tricky.
I'd have been like, hold up, man, let me finish my game. I can't leave these guys hanging.
Well, because I don't know if you understand. I mean, I'm sure whenever you jump on, up in the right corner, you see how many friends are playing.
Yes.
I notice that every time. So Tricky had to notice that one of his friends was playing, and he wouldn't just check. I don't know. Tricky's mind works in weird ways.
Any other shout-outs?
Me? No, I'm good. That's it. Oh, and all the pimps and madams of the whoredom. That's it. Peace out.
All right, Alex.
Give a shout out to the listeners, the fans, the fuel to the fire that is Trophy Horrors, our awesome community. People like Jeremy, like Kalai. Thank you all for continuing to support the show. It really helps us power on through the 600s here into the 700s. Give a shout out to my co-host Matt and Yield, as well as Tricky, who's behind the scenes playing puppeteer, being the Wizard of Oz, recuperating from his recent surgery. Last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend Ashley. I love you, hon. And that is going to be the end of my shout outs.
Great. Well, shout out to you, gents, for recording tonight. Jeremy, thank you again for coming in, filling in expertly so, whereas Tricky was in the background spouting nonsense, something like the Rangers are the best hockey team ever, or that, Ubisoft needs to make the Division 3 quicker. Anyways.
He's going to have to stop playing the Division 2 for that to happen. If he keeps playing the Division, they're just going to keep supporting the Division 2.
True.
Shout out to the folks in chat. I saw Will, Kalai, Joe, who stopped in briefly to talk and trash talk about the Rangers. Will, Saber. I didn't think there was anybody else in chat. Shout out to the Channel 3 community. Make sure to go to channel3.gg for some gamified social media. Shout out to Tricky in the background. Seriously, man, get better soon. Make sure you heal up so you can come back and talk more games with us. And shout out to my awesome wife, V. Thank you for everything you do. With that said, thanks for listening, everybody. This has been Trophy Wars episode 669. Very nice. And happy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12th Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.